Hey everyone. Hope you can hear me. Renee, do you mind saying something just so I know if I can hear you?
I'm here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hi, it's so fun to see everyone. I know some of you might have to be off camera, so totally get that. But if you feel like sharing, we'll have time to do that. So I want to honor that you have joined. So fun to see everyone. Familiar faces. I hope you can see my screen. Does that work? All right. Well, I also want to make sure that you have the play sheet. In case you didn't get it, I will put it in the chat for you. And then we can get started. All right. So, this is being recorded. I know several people couldn't make it, unfortunately, due to work or other things going on. But I am so glad you can be here. I know when you can attend live, it's just so much more powerful. But of course, this will be recorded. If you have to miss one, you can join at another time. So I just want to welcome you officially to the Fulfillment Formula. This is your journey to learn how to achieve with ease. And I know many of you, and I know many of you know how to achieve. So the real shift here is I want to help you with creating success so that you can have a mindset and some energy principles that will help you just flow through your day more. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about energy. And I want to emphasize this isn't a woo-woo approach to life. In fact, throughout these trainings, you'll get really clear on what's truly important to you so that you can focus your energy where it matters most. You'll also learn how to integrate your mind's logic with your heart's wisdom, or as I like to say it, your truth, so that every decision and goal feels right and fulfilling. And then we're going to also help you step into your highest self, where you can release some old patterns of stress and overwhelm and hopefully replace them with a new sense of ease and flow. And finally, you're going to walk away with some practical strategies and tools, not just to set goals, but to achieve them in a way where it really supports your overall well-being. So if anyone knows me, I really want to support you holistically. So this week that you'll be joining me is really about shifting from a mindset of force or tight gripping to one of flow, where you can achieve your goals not out of obligation, but from a place of alignment with who you are and what you truly want. So again, you can align your deepest desires with your daily actions. And that's how you can get results while feeling fulfilled. So specifically today, we'll focus on awakening your potential and helping you to see a new vision for success. And we'll start by reframing your approach to how you go for success. In other words, how do we shift from that high pressure mindset to a balanced path that leaves you feeling invigorated and hopefully inspires you? And we're going to start by looking at what's driving the high pressure mindset, how it could be draining you. And with awareness around it, you can make new choices on how to move forward. So this will set the stage for a more satisfying and hopefully joyful journey toward your goals. So with that in mind, I just want to make sure we get to the next. Some just quick reminders. Please, I know everyone will be respectful, but I'm just asking if everyone could be respectful to each other. Please type any comments in the chat. I will check them periodically. If there's something urgent, feel free to wave me down. For those of you who have your camera on, that helps me out. And we'll have moments to be interactive where you can share what's coming up for you and any questions, even at the end. So with that said, I am going to go through some high-level things, but if you want to just type in the chat what is your intention for this week or just today? And it could be brief, like if you just want to feel a certain way, calmer, more energized. I heard that from some of you, more invigorated. I'm asking that because it's just interesting for me to see. I think it'll be interesting for other people to see, but it's really important for you to declare for yourself, why am I here? Why am I focusing this time on myself, which is really great. I'm so happy you're doing it. So, as I know many of you are high achievers, you can set goals and I know you can achieve them. But I also know some of you are a little bit worn out. So I want to make sure that you are feeling energized and also have better ways to move forward in tactical ways. Again, this isn't just about theory. I want to make sure that we're getting into the tactics. But since you do know how to set goals and achieve them, I want to look at what might be holding you back. But before I go there, I'm seeing some great answers to become more hopeful. Okay. Good news. I won't dive too deep on everyone's comments, but hope is really about taking action. So you showing up today is awesome. You are already hopefully on the path to taking some, well, you are taking action, but to feeling that hope. You want to get some of the negative energy that surrounds Billy. Yes. So let's focus on what you want, some energizing or positive energy to get out of a high pressured work environment. I get it. It can be exhausting. To be more mindful. I know there's others who want to be present. Yes. Finding some happiness in my life. Okay. Feeling more connected and not to steal my title. But to live joyfully and feel more fulfilled. Yes. Well, I'm glad. I think it resonated. Yes. Right. Your job is your job. And to come home to your dog. We want more for you. So thank you. Thank you for everyone for sharing that. So next, let's look at if any of these sound like you. Some of you already shared, so I'm guessing it could be that this resonates with you, but I want to see what's coming up as you're going through your day-to-day life. I'm going to try to set a poll, so we'll make this easy for you. 1 minute while we get it up. Let's see. So here, hopefully you can see that. But I just want to know a little bit more specifically, how are you feeling when you go through your day-to-day life? Is it frustrated or like you're going through the motions? Maybe you're getting things done, but feeling exhausted or snapping at people. Maybe you're putting everyone else first and you have little energy for yourself. Or maybe you don't have an off switch. In other words, you're always on. You don't even know how to relax. At one point in my life, I had to be a couch potato after a procedure, and I had to Google what that meant because I didn't even know how to do it. So I get it if that's the one. Or you feel lazy if you're not productive. Maybe your mind tells you that you just have to keep going to get it all done. And that can even be true for something really big, like getting a job, or something super deep, like finding love. You think you have to just be on all the time. Or maybe you're in constant action mode. You're like, gosh, it's taking too long for me to get results. Or you're expecting, or you're getting the results you want, but you just kind of doubt you can keep it going. Or maybe you're feeling uninspired or just not sure what you want. So I am curious. Wow. So a lot of you, it looks like, are getting things done and not just exhausted or snapping, putting others first. Experiencing results, but doubt you can keep it going. Yes, a lot of high achievers feel that. Maybe not sure what you want, uninspired, or you're in constant action mode. Okay, well, thank you all for sharing that. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you could see that, but hopefully I just shared the results, so hopefully you can see that. But I get it. You know, what's so interesting to me is that all of this, to me, are signs of burnout. And this burnout has been included in the official classification of diseases. Did you know that? That's so outstanding to me, not in a good way. So if you can relate to these, which it sounds like you can, again, know you're not the only one, and you saw that we all responded that way. And what I think is so hard about all of this is that on the outside, you might look like you have it all, or you have a lot going on. And you probably do. You have these great experiences in your life, but deep down, you know there's more to life and that something's missing, whether it's that deep, loving relationship, a career that lights you up, or health that really energizes you. Or maybe something as simple as just wanting to be present in your day-to-day life. And I know we hear about these concepts and it seems like, oh, we should be able to just do them. But it's harder than it seems. And you might end up just lacking confidence or wondering what the right steps are to take to get you to the next level. But what do? We just keep going and doing because you're really great at that, I'm sure, right? You're really good at leveraging your mind to make things happen. And you're being vigilant and you're making plans and you're strategizing to get certain results. And again, many things come to fruition that way, right? But your heart isn't in it, or you're not getting the results that you really want. Meaning, what I found with high achievers too is that they're so used to getting results, put the hard work in, get what they want. But when you do start connecting with your heart a little bit more, or your true desires, you feel frustrated because the results don't seem to come as quickly. But before you self-destruct or just lose all momentum, please know that this approach of using your mind, or what I call a mental approach, it's not bad. It's just how you learned how to survive. And even though you want a sense of meaning and fulfillment, I know you might still be craving results really fast, all the answers right now, and a clear-cut path without ambiguity. I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen so many clients say that to me. My high achievers say, you know what? Yeah, I know how to get results. So just give me the next steps. They've even said that. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I'm going to be honest, I still feel the same way, even though I know that's not the best approach. And the reason why it's not the best approach is that they're not really happy or thriving along the way. And they weren't doing what they knew they needed to do. That's the interesting part too. Sometimes we know what we need to do and we're still not doing it. So again, I want to talk to you about how we can align your actions with those deep desires to not only get results, but to be excited on your journey and feel really fulfilled by the outcomes. So we're going to have another poll. I am just curious. Let's get a little more specific at looking at your approach to getting results or goals, or even just how you make any kind of progress in your life. In other words, how are you pursuing your day-to-day life? My hope is that with a deeper understanding of how you operate, you can approach going for desires in a new way with a much more expanded awareness. So just notice for yourself, when it comes to planning for your goals, which one of these applies to you? I'm going to try a poll again here. So I want to know, when you're approaching goals, are you feeling calm, focused, and self-directed? Or do you have a hard time setting goals? Meaning you think about them, but you're just waiting for a better way. Or you just don't feel like it, or you get overwhelmed by all the goals you want to set. Or 3, are you good at setting goals, but you're just not following through? You don't feel like you have the tools, the resources, or the motivation. Or 4, are you setting goals and you follow through, but you're not enjoying your day-to-day. So some of you answered this before. And then the last ones, maybe it's a mix, right? Maybe in some areas of your life, you're setting goals, you're feeling good, you're achieving them, and others you're not. So it looks like the biggest one is you set goals and you even follow through, but maybe not. Let's keep shifting. But yeah, some big ones are, let's just say no one picked calm, focused, and self-directed. So I guess that says it all. I hear you. Okay, let's see. I'm going to end the poll just so I want to make sure you can all see this. Can you see it when I hit share? Yeah. So it looks like most people, there's both, right? I mean, we're human, so sometimes we get it, and sometimes it's just not working for us. Okay. So again, I could totally relate. All of these were true for me at some point. And the bottom line is, I knew I couldn't keep waiting for my circumstances to change or for me to feel motivated before I made the changes, right? We have to take action. And like I said earlier, I also wanted a clear path with steps. And what I was doing, though, is I kept looking outside of myself to figure it out. Oh, how are other people doing it? And that worked at times. That's a good thing to do, right? We want to be inspired and learn from others. But I noticed I just kept taking steps and feeling exhausted or honestly, sometimes trapped and not excited to move forward. So I know that approach didn't really serve me. I wasn't totally clear, if I was being honest, on what I needed to do. I was just doing all the time, mostly what I saw other people doing, and I wasn't feeling confident about what to do. And I saw other people were doing the same thing. So let's understand why we might feel this way, or honestly, why we're behaving the way you just noticed. And what I've seen is these three mistakes that most people make, or I should say when high achievers make when setting goals or going for what they want. So let's see if any of these resonate with you. You might set, I'm going to use a strong word, arbitrary goals. Or in other words, you do what you think you should do, and then you tirelessly chase them. Even if you've gone off and done your own business, you're like, I'm started this, yay. But then what do? You kind of watch all the other gurus and try to figure out what they're doing. Number two, maybe you let other people's energy impact yours. So you lose yourself and your connection to your truth, whether that's a business partner, a romantic partner, friends, family, society. And three, you might become too tired or overwhelmed to take even a small but powerful step. So what happens is you end up even more drained or disconnected from yourself, from others, and you can't thrive. Versus what I've seen work is having a system that works for you. So I am going to help you stop shoulding on yourself and take better care of you. And I want to help you connect with your truth so you can lead from there to create your unique path. And for some inspiration, I wanted to share this with you. I see a typo. Okay, but I'm okay with that. I'll read it to you. If you can see your path laid out in front of you step by step, you know it's not your path. Your own path you make with every step you take. That's why it's your path. Now, this can feel inspiring, and I think it can also sometimes feel daunting, because going back to just give me the next steps. But I hope this sentiment creates some space for you to see how you can be the leader of your life, and that so much more is possible. The good news is that we can build on the successes and results you've had, right? So all that effort you've put into using your mind and strategic skills, it's good. We can build on that. But we need to also leverage what you've learned along the way by optimizing your gifts, your talents, and your natural skills. Again, I'm going to say this in other words, your truth, or who you are at your heart. So what I've learned to get to this is the key is to have high achievers get out of their heads and into their hearts more, right? It's your heart that matters. That's why I really often talk about a heart-driven approach. And when you do this, it leads to results better than you could imagine in love and work, in all areas of your life. And it's sometimes hard to believe because we're not used to that. But again, I don't want to dismiss our mind. We need that, the logic and the strategy to create a system to support your heart's desires. And what I've seen is that when people lead with their hearts and have a system and a structure for the support, they flow through their life and it fuels their next step, right? You're energized to go for it. So I want to support you in becoming that leader of your life, where you show up with a relaxed confidence by connecting your heart with your mind so that you can experience the most fulfilling, joyful, and meaningful life. So you can show up every day with purpose, passion, and play. I know that when I have clarity on all of those, I get so excited. I can't wait to wake up and start my day. So this quote really inspired me on my life's journey. And for those of you who don't know me, because there's a lot of people who don't know me and who'll be watching the recording, and so I just want to briefly introduce myself and share how I've been following my own path and why it's so important for me to support others to feel energized as they go through their lives as well. So I'm Rosie Gualiardo, the founder of Inner Brilliance Coaching, and I've loved being a certified life and career coach since 2007. And I'm also a member of Forbes Coaches Council, I think since 2017 now. I'm also a contributing author to a book entitled Turning Point Moments, and it became an Amazon bestseller, which was exciting. And we just received a gold medal in the Global Book Awards. Previously to that, I was in marketing and advertising for 18 years, working closely with companies such as McDonald's, Anheuser-Busch Theme Parks, and Unilever. And these days, I try to combine all of my learnings from my ad experience and my coaching certifications along with my Northwestern Psych degree to support high-achieving people like you discover an easier way of living. You can get results even better than you imagine while flowing through your day. Now, my approach is based on 2 signature programs that help clients experience what I call aligned success because it's based on their truths. And it's supported by my proprietary energy management and mastery methods. Now, if this is something that you would like, if this sounds good to you to flow through your day, to feel energized, have aligned success, I know I can help you become what I call a happier high achiever. So you'll still be a high achiever, but hopefully a bit happier. Okay, and a quick rundown on a little bit more about my story and my background that led me to connect with my heart and not just operate from my mind all the time to create those results that really feel good on the inside as they look on the outside. So again, I know we've talked about this, high achievers, right? You're striving hard to have this great life, and you might be experiencing really great results, but you're overwhelmed, anxious, and burnt out, and sometimes unmotivated because of that. So I hope my sharing my story and my approach, you can relate to it and see how there's a new way forward. So I always thought, to feel happy, I have to work hard. And for years, that was my journey to getting results. I always had a tight grip on life. I was all about strategy, pushing through every obstacle. And on the surface, it looked like, yeah, I'm getting some good results. But beneath it all, I was drained, exhausted, and missing that deeper meaning I really wanted in my life. And I realized that success built mostly on what I call masculine energy, which is driven by logic or force, or if it's often giving and doing and telling, it's just not sustainable. Can any of you relate to that? Think so, right? Because that's what we're talking about. And I knew I needed a shift. And that's when I became quiet, And I began going inward and listening to my heart and embracing what I call more feminine energy. That's when things started to change for me. And I found a new way forward where I feel like I can have a business I love, relationships I adore, and gratefully be in good health. Again, what made the difference was that I couldn't be in that constant pushing mode. I had to find that harmony between my heart and my mind. And I'm reinforcing this so much because I think people talk about being heart-centered, but I don't want to dismiss the masculine energy or what we can call the linear thinking and the doing. We need that to support us. So the way I like to think of it is our hearts represent our true desires, while our minds represent the goals and aspirations we've created for ourselves. And those goals, aspirations in our mind can actually support us in magnetizing our desires, attracting them more naturally. So when you align your goals with your true desires, right, you're not doing things you think you should do, you find more ease, joy, and peace along the way. And getting results doesn't feel like a battle anymore. It just flows more naturally. And you have that deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. And that's what I want for you. It's about including the whole you in the process, not compartmentalizing. But many of us have learned that taking that mental approach is just important. So I am excited to share with you now, we're going to dive into this heart-driven approach that also includes a formula for how to get results with joy. Like I said, we are going to have some tactical exercises too. But that formula starts with you. And that's what I call aligned success, like I shared earlier. It starts by connecting within, then tuning into how to connect with others, and ultimately apply your learnings to your world to allow the best path to unfold before you. So do you see how that works? When you're clear on yourself and you have a vision for your life, you can allow that path to unfold before you. You won't have that tight grip. I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is a brief overview of how I support my clients to go from that like harried life and chasing what they want or wondering what they want to attracting more of what they want. They need to start by knowing themselves, which I know sounds weird. How do we not know ourselves? But it takes time. We have a lot of gunk on us that we have to remove. Then you might know yourself, but I want to show you how to step into accepting your truth in yourself. And finally, honoring yourself, really going for it. And the key is to do this for your whole selves. So over the next 5 days, we're going to just actually focus on the first half of this approach because we don't have enough time to go through everything. But so in particular, knowing yourself, accepting and honoring yourself. But that leads to trusting and loving yourself, which leads to your best results. So specifically for today, I'm going to share some theories and help us connect further with where you currently are while planning for the future a bit. We're going to start with some baseline goals. Then we'll dive into creating priorities for you, not for others, but for you. And see what else might be getting in your way to pursuing your truth or your heart's wisdom. And then finally, we'll discuss a simple way to mitigate and dissolve that block. Now, throughout our discussion in these 5 days, I'll just use some simple examples, but hopefully you can consider how to apply these theories in your own life. And again, we can discuss how to make them relevant for you. So let's just start with looking at your current goals. If you haven't done this already, maybe in a notebook, or you can do it in the play sheet if you printed it out, can you just jot down your baseline goals? Like, is it to continue building my business? Is it to find a new job? Is it what you said earlier, just an intention to feel mindful? And focus on what you want versus what you don't want, because our mind looks for evidence of what you do want. You want to focus on the positive. Now, you might have several goals or just a few. They could be big or small. This is just a moment to gain some clarity. I also want to highlight, you might notice some triggers coming up for you, especially based on how we can feel around goal setting. Try to set those aside as you're jotting down these notes and as we go through the rest of today. It might even help to just connect with your highest self, that part of you that's compassion and understanding. So we're going to call these your baseline goals, and we're going to get more specific as we move forward and hopefully more inspiring. If there's anything you want to declare in the chat, feel free. Otherwise, we are moving forward. So I really want to help you gain some clarity in your life and a sense of priorities. So you might have several goals, you might have a few, but either way, it might be difficult to determine where to put your energy. So to get focused, I use this tool called the Wheel of Life. And you can see it has different components of your life in it, and it'll help you evaluate which goals or desires you'd like to focus on at this point in your life. Specifically, you'll start to uncover which areas you'd like to shift and maybe which ones are already working. So what I want you to do, and you could do this again on a play sheet or draw a circle on a notebook, is rate how satisfied you are on a scale from 1 to 10 in each of these areas of your life, with 1 being the least satisfied and 10 being the most satisfied. Now, this is just a snapshot of how you're feeling today or this week. It isn't meant to reflect past achievements or future goals you want to achieve. So just go with your gut reaction. For example, when I first started in advertising, I remember my financials, I would say, oh my gosh, that was not good. I was underpaid. I was young. Someday I want to make more money. But that wasn't really the right way to think about it. It was, how was I doing in that moment? So I started with a 5, and then I'm like, actually 7, I was doing okay. Still underpaid, but some people like to put a dotted line down family and friends. Physical environment could be your home, work, or both. Want to put a thumbs up in the chat when you're done? Got it. Thank you. Trying to guess based on who's looking. Okay. Well, as you're wrapping up, just wanted to give you some takeaways that, again, you could feel some doubt as you're considering your goals and what you want to do. But sometimes all the way you were feeling earlier, it just comes from a lack of focus or priorities. And so what you could start looking at here is anything that you rated above a 7 can represent what's going well in your life. And that has a lot of information. I think sometimes we think, oh, that's it. Good, got that down. But when I work with clients, we actually use these areas to understand their unique strategies for success. And then we can apply them to the areas that aren't working so well. And then anything that's a 6 or below may be areas you want to prioritize or work on. So you could use this wheel to understand where you want to put your effort. But what I want to emphasize is, ideally, you just focus on 3 life areas at a time, no more. So you can actually make some progress, which will keep you energized to keep going. what I've seen is, again, I said this earlier, like we spread ourselves too thin if we have too many goals. And in fact, if you have a really big goal right now, like starting your own business or looking for a job, then maybe you need to just focus on one thing. Now, if you have a family, that doesn't mean you don't feed the children, right? You will still be supporting people and being there for them. But we just want to make sure that you are putting the energy you need where you need it. So the next step is, could you pick 3 life areas or less that need more attention right now, and just circle them or highlight them. And I was just going to share something to consider is how these different areas relate to each other. So for some context, I like to break these down into the phases that correspond with aligned success. Like when we think about connecting within, I think that's mostly about health and personal growth. And then when you think about connecting with others, I feel like you're looking at relationships with friends and family, a romantic partner, having fun. And then when you think about applying everything you've learned or about yourself or connecting with others to your world, you can look at your career, physical environment, and financials. So I'll be quiet. Then I would love to hear from everyone or anyone who wants to share if any surprises came up, or are you like, nope, I knew this. This is what I was planning on, which is probably can happen too. Is anyone rethinking what they want to put as a focus area? And I ask that because, oh, Mike, I was just going to say, like, some people might say, hey, my health is at an 8, but if I get this at a 10, wow, I can really go for it. So it doesn't always have to be everything that's 6 or lower. So Mike, what's coming up for you?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I was just I think what this really has me. I mean, I think of all of these really. I mean, in some way or another, whether I've identified them or not, I'm thinking of all these areas of focus, and it's too much. It's overwhelming, and trying to. I I, I marked a number of them less than 7, so it's which is okay. It's just a matter of like which one to work on first. But it honestly, it's kind of a breath of fresh air to think just what to work on. Focus on 3 of them.
Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that I remember hearing this years ago, but no one really talked about. And I thought, oh my gosh, why are we, I don't know, I used to have 10 goals, right? Oh, I'm going to do this, get better health, get a new job, blah, 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 improve my relationship. And I think that happens because, we're moving forward oftentimes focused on other people's energy or, other people's definition of success, or that traditional approach to achievement, which was, I have to work super hard. Can you relate?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I have another exercise that might help you get even more focused. So that's the good news, Mike, and everyone else. Does anyone else want to share before we go on to our next exercise? Okay. Maybe the next one will inspire a different insight, but a lot of times, even with the 3 areas that we focus on, again, we want to do that so you can make some progress. And this is all about energy management. When you're making progress, you're feeling good, and then you'll keep taking steps. So that's why it's important to get really focused and narrow in on what you want to look at. But I know we could still have that negative self-talk come up because of, well, I should be doing this. So what I thought we could do is this next exercise I like to call it's a life plan matrix. And again, with progress and focus, you'll motivate yourself more and you'll feel your next steps. So what I like to do is map out for the year what those focus areas are going to be. Now I know we're going into Q4, so you might want to start with that and then go into the early part of 2025. I can't believe I'm already saying that. But yeah, this can help you start saying, gosh, if I have several under 6, wait, what if I just focus on 3 for October, November, December, then a few others next year. And I sort of look at the rhythm of my life. This is where, again, bring in your heart, your truth. I know personally, this can be a busier time for work because I feel like in the fall, we kind of get into our back to school mindset. So career might be a focus, but I know the holidays are coming up too. So I'll probably put friends and family as a focus. Come first quarter, I go back to career. Maybe, I live in Chicago and I really could use the time in the winter to get back to my health, because in Chicago, all we want to do, at least I enjoy being outside a lot in the warm weather in the summer. That can catch up to you if you're dining al fresco. But ideally, what you can do is map out your priorities for the different quarters, and that starts to quiet those sabotaging thoughts, right? That nagging voice that's like, well, when are you going to focus on this, your health or this? I'll focus on it next quarter. Seems funny to say you'll focus on your health next quarter, but you get the idea. And I know it might seem counterintuitive to say, okay, find your focus and then plan the rest of the year, right? But these are just placeholders. If you get to next quarter and it's no longer relevant to focus on what you suggested, you will switch it around. The goal is to simply quiet that voice. Yes, that's a great question. Yeah, you can have the same 3. Right. If there's a life area that doesn't apply to you, that's exactly right. And it helps you to keep going then. It's that clarity. So that's a great question. So I am curious if there's anything, now that you're looking at it this way, you know what? I'll be quiet for a minute, but I would love to hear any insights before we wrap up. I'm trying to stay in time, but we might just go a couple minutes over if you have. I know we said 45 minutes, but did any of your goals shift now when you're looking at the matrix? Or how does it feel? You can write in the chat, or if you want to take yourself off. Sheridan?
Yeah, thanks, Rosie. I think that last slide really did kind of reprioritize the areas of focus that I want for myself, because when I was identifying it from the wheel, I still felt kind of like, Mike, there's just a lot. There's still a lot that I want to work on, but I like planning it according to the seasons of life as well. I think that is a really good takeaway, that if you can just focus on 1 or 2 maybe areas each quarter, or have some that continue on, but you switch out some, that feels a little bit more doable.
Right. Again, so you're literally witnessing yourself, that negative self-talk just got quiet. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'll work on that. This seems like progress. And this is all about energy. Again, I feel like I'll be a broken record, but you're feeling more energized, right? Oh, I can focus on these. Great. Instead of waking up and thinking, I have so much to do, where do I start? I think I want this one, but I'm not sure. So thank you for sharing that, Sheridan. I'm glad it was helpful. And ultimately, what you're seeing too is, with clarity about your priorities, you're just more aligned. I keep doing this because I think of coherence with our mind and our hearts. Like, if you don't know what I'm doing right now. And that's what gives you more energy. In fact, notice you might not be resisting or fighting yourself, because that's what's happening, the battle, right? Like, no, do this, do that. So without that arguing, you have more energy. So hopefully you can see how we got rid of a source of draining your energy, right? Now we're infusing you with some more energy. And I thought I'd summarize all of them. Well, does anyone else want to share before we go on? I know this might be a repeat for some people, but hopefully it's a good reminder. So as we're wrapping up, I just want to acknowledge that we all have these challenges that, notice we all felt this constant juggling or pressure to keep up, or, that lingering feeling that, gosh, something's missing, I want something else. And I hope you can see that this is the beginning of a new way to approach your goals. And it starts with that heart-driven approach and how it can impact who you're being. So we'll talk a lot about being versus doing. Again, the masculine energy is doing, which we need. But I also want to tune into who you're being along the way. And ideally, you could be more calm and confident when you're clear about your priorities. And although it's natural to have that, quiet voice questioning you and your approach and what you're doing, again, I hope you're feeling better and you can make better choices when you quiet that voice. So hopefully you can allow this new vision we're creating for success to inspire you and your potential. There's so much out there for you. And we are going to get even deeper into goals over the next couple of days. So I just want to let you know what we're up to tomorrow. We're going to explore how to understand and honor different seasons of your life. So it's not actually the quarters of these seasons. We're going to do a different exercise where you're going to learn how to align your actions with your goals and your needs and your desires. Again, not what you think you should do. And we're going to help you release even more, I'm going to say, outdated expectations that we've put on ourselves. That's the craziest part. Like, we might have picked them up from somewhere else, but what I want you to do is we're going to start releasing these old, outdated expectations. And that's going to help you become more present with clarity and confidence. What I'd love for you to do between now and tomorrow is just notice your thoughts and emotions for the next day that you might, still hold you back, because this is great. I think we could go through exercises and we get inspired. And then you go through your day and stuff starts to pop up again, which is okay. It might be telling you, oh no, you shouldn't do that, or you should go back to your baseline goals, or use this other approach. I just want you to be aware of that, what's coming up, any thoughts or emotions, and then we can move through that tomorrow. You might hear things like, still don't have time for X, Y, and Z. Thanks, Pam. Oh, I saw someone say, okay, you have to drop off. So most importantly, what I want to wrap with is that I hope you notice that we need to create our own path, and you're starting to connect with what's possible for you. And I'm excited to help you connect the dots and continue to share different strategies for success to help you follow through on these priorities. And most importantly, these possibilities that can lead to truly satisfying experiences. That's what we're here for. So I'm excited to support you. Are there any questions before we wrap up? Sorry, I went a few minutes over. Are we good? Awesome. Okay, same time tomorrow, and we'll dive into some new exercises I'm excited to share.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you all. Take care.
Thanks, bye.